Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm back again. It's me, Chappell, to talk about Pop the Balloon live on Netflix. That's right. It's a recap kickback, and every week for the last 6 weeks, we have been talking about Pop the Balloon live on Netflix. We started on the Nothing But Netflix podcast, and now we have moved over to Recap Kickback, where we are going to talk about these daters and why they're popping a balloon for each other. And we'll probably just talk more about our own personal experiences with dating and all that kind of stuff. So with me again, the person whose business I get into every week, Chantele. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me. I always forget. I'm like, oh, we have to talk about this episode. We're not just talking to each other and having these questions as prompts, so I can get to know you a little bit better, or you can get to know me, of course.
Mhm.
I'm happy to be here. I love talking to you, and like the show, it's still just a meh. I'm trying to think of like what can make it more interesting. I don't know what it can do, but it's okay. It gives us a platform to have different conversations, and that's enough for me. So I'm happy.
Yeah, I've been enjoying having the conversations, and I actually really I'm appreciating the amount of interaction we're getting about these episodes too. People seem to like us talking about popping the balloon, so we're gonna keep doing it. And then we also got a comment from another Rob, not our Rob, but the other Rob. But he says we should talk about the YouTube version one day as well. So maybe when we're done with this one, we go and like cover whatever the latest episode of the YouTube version is, just to kind of compare and contrast what those two shows are like. What do you think about that?
I'm in. I'm down 100%.
Yeah, so it's going to be very different. Like for the people listening to this who's ever gone and check it out, we've been talking about the differences, but we'd love to go in and kind of like analyze what makes that work, what it doesn't make this work, and then even talk about some of the unhinged things that we see over there, because it does get a little bit wilder on YouTube. And Chantele, I wanted to ask you about that. So with Pop the Balloon live, this time we have our 8 daters. They're the single women this time, and we're bringing out our men as our dators, our poppers, or well, the popped, I guess. And they're coming in. But do you think it's a little safe because it's on Netflix? To me, or maybe to me, I can't determine if it's safe because it's on Netflix and the people are trying not to embarrass themselves in front of billions of people, or if it's safe because these are guys and they're coming in trying to be a lot more polite about some of the things they're saying. Because the women we've seen can get away with a little bit more superficial things, like I ain't like your shoes, I ain't like your shirt, whereas the guys will come in and be like, no, everything's fine, everything's fine, everything's fine. And I can't tell what the actual issue is here.
I think the issue is that everybody's really PC nowadays and gets offended quite easily. And
yeah,
it's fine. But I don't think that Netflix wants a lawsuit or wants people rioting or wants to think that the network is hosting, racist people or hosting misogyny, anybody that's like very extreme in a certain way that you can get away with being on YouTube because like that's her own channel. Like nobody's necessarily need to be held accountable necessarily for people's actions, but Netflix is going to have to be held responsible for airing some of these people's opinions. And so I think that there's probably a little bit of a clause that they sign being like, I'm not going to be defamatory or what, you know what I mean? I'm not going to be super rude.
Yeah,
like they're
don't
probably
embarrass us
signing
on TV.
something. Exactly. And so I think that allows them to be a little bit more cautious. Of course, you don't want to get sued by Netflix. That wouldn't be great. Also, you mentioned that it's a huge platform. And so they don't necessarily want to say something that's going to get them canceled because it seems like a lot of them would like to use this as a platform, like a jumping off point for like career or, more fame, more Instagram followers, that jazz. So all that, and then on top of it, I think people are a little bit more sensitive in this new age that, I think it just makes people a little bit tame and muted.
Yeah, the most unhinged person we've gotten so far is Johnny Bananas, and that was episode 1. And so I don't know if it's like he came out hot episode 1 and everybody's like, no, I don't want no parts of that. But I definitely have noticed that the energy is a little down. We get pops for almost nothing, and then it's always like, we're not vibing. I didn't get the vibe. You don't get the vibe. Like it's like it almost feels like we're being a little too cagey with our responses. Like I didn't like the vibe for someone you just have seen for 12 seconds. It's like I'm not saying they're not giving the show a chance, but you know, I just feel like you could add more to the conversation. Like, it's you and I are talking, we're on a podcast, right? Our goal is to fill this air. We have to talk and make interesting conversation happen about what we watch. If they just keep saying, I like the vibe, the vibe, the vibe, the vibe, well, what are we going to even talk about? You know, like, I feel like they're not giving the show room to grow.
100% agree. And I definitely think, like, as much as we don't care for Johnny Bananas, he did come from an era where people were cast on reality TV shows without having the idea that they're going to get anything out of it. Right? Yeah. He was on The Real World, which was, there's no prize there. They had to have a job. They just lived somewhere for whatever, 3 to 6 months in a city, which is cool. And I wanted to do that experience. Absolutely. But it was basically just living together and, you know, seeing their personalities clash or work well together. And that was the show. And so he was a personality hire. You know, like he was hired for the fact that he was interesting on his own. And he went on the show without thinking that he was going to be Instagram famous and start, you know, having sponsorships. Like, he didn't start out that way. It was genuine. And so I think just like the caliber of people nowadays, because it's so easy to get such notoriety and success and fame out of being on one of these shows, that I think it also makes people a little bit more, like you said, cagey and a little bit more reserved and a little bit less showing their authentic selves, because they don't want their authentic selves to not be brandable.
Good point. And I'm going to get into a little bit more of that once we get into our daters here, because we have a group of 8 single women who are ready to find their own matches. As you know, if you've been listening to this, when the daters come out, the women have the chances to pop their balloon if they're not feeling the vibe or if they're getting the ick or anything like that. And then the daters also, the daters get to come out and ask them questions back. And then they got to find out if there's going to be a pop or a lock, and if they're going to move on and date in the future. And so first things first, we did get some updates this episode. Woo! Which is great because we've been talking about it. So we tapped in. Though? yeah, we got 2. We got 2 updates. And we got, was it Emmy and Serafina?
Exactly. Yes. And their birthdays today.
Yeah. Oh, today. It's today.
They said May 17th, and that's today.
Okay. Well, look, happy birthday to both of them. Because we found out that they have the same birthday. Chantele, if somebody tells you they have the same exact birthday as you, is that a red flag, or do you like dive deeper into the birth chart?
I really like it. Well, I have a decently rare birthday. I don't meet that many people that have my birthday.
What's your birthday?
My birthday, January 25th. And so it's always very surprising on both ends, because we don't usually meet other people that have our birthdays. Now, funny enough, a guy that I never really ended up dating, but we kind of had a crush on each other. And this was when I was living in Montreal, and he was like a regular customer that at the bar, I worked at this hip hop club. And so he used to come and just hang out with me every Saturday night. But he had a girlfriend, but he had like a crush on each other kind of thing, but like, you know, from afar. And he told me, he's like, you know, I have a crush on you, whatever. And just so you know, my first girlfriend's name was Chantele. And I was like, oh my God, my first boyfriend's name was Marlon, and his name was Marlon. And then he's like, when's your birthday? And I'm like, January 25th. And he's like, that's my birthday. Ooh. So we've had the same birthday. We vibed. Like, we really got along. If we met at a different time, we'd probably be together, kind of thing. And then both of our first like boyfriend type things, when we're like, I don't know, 8, we had each other's names. Is that crazy?
That is crazy. That's amazing. Actually, that seems like to me. So to me, that would be like a sign from the universe. Like, I need to make space for this person. Not so much I need to date them, but like something about that person is drawing me to them. You know, like to me, that would be something where I can't ignore this. So, but you said it wasn't great timing for y'all.
It wasn't great timing for us, but we got along really well. I can tell you another coincident birthday story.
Go ahead.
So my best friend got married a couple years ago, and she was having like a backyard wedding, and she asked me to be the witness at the wedding. And her husband had his witness at the wedding in the backyard, and we signed the papers or whatnot. And a couple of months later, we're just talking about birthdays. So I was working at their bar on a Sunday, and they usually come and hang out with me and sit at the bar. And they were going to be going to Sundance because another friend of ours had a film at Sundance. And so they were going to be going down to support her there. And her birthday was going to be on the day that they get to Sundance. I'm like, oh yeah, my birthday's a couple days after. And Dan, my best friend's husband, was like, wait, when's your birthday? And I'm like, January 25th. And he's like, oh my God, that's my best friend, my witness's birthday. And so both of us witnesses, out of all the friends that they have in the backyard, are signing the marriage certificate with the same birthdays and not knowing. And that means that even when we were like, they weren't together, because like I've been friends with her for over 20 years, and same with him. We've been celebrating our birthdays, and so we're kind of celebrating separately, but still kind of together, because now, like, you know what I mean, we're all friends. So
that's dope. I like that.
Right?
I think that, have y'all celebrated together now?
Like, well, he doesn't live in Canada right now, so no, we haven't. But just like growing up and like, yeah, it's gonna happen for sure. But just knowing though that there was always a celebration going on that day, even though they had never met each other, so we were kind of aligned with the stars, kind of.
No, that's super cool. Let's get into these data, Chantele, because I've been getting some intel about this. First one, we meet Scotty, 31, from the Ultimatum on Netflix. He's he works for a tech company. He has his own real estate company, or he does real estate, I'm sorry. And his last relationship was 6 months ago. And he's looking for someone who is kind and doesn't have a lot of ego. He doesn't love ego. Now, he says his relationship was 6 months ago, and we get a bunch of pops. Some of the pops are like, hey, 6 months isn't enough time to do the work and to bounce back from a relationship. Maybe you need more time. This is too soon for me. But some of the pops are like, I saw you on the Ultimatum. Now, Chantele, you sent me the video, but I didn't watch it because I felt like I didn't want to ruin the podcast content. So tell me, what is it about Scotty that is problematic enough for these women to be like, absolutely not?
He was a hard no. Okay. Like, I think he's an attractive looking man for sure. So, you know, the concept of the show, right? Is like the people that are in relationships, and one of them are asking, they want to move to the next level in their relationship. And so they're kind of giving their partner an ultimatum, being like, hey, if like we can't get together, like in a more serious way, then I want to move on. And so while they're there, they end up dating somebody else that's also either given an ultimatum or they gave the ultimatum. And so all the couples kind of get shuffled around. So originally, Scotty's girlfriend is, oh my God, what's her name? Aria? What's it? I think it's Aria is his girlfriend's name. Sure. Beautiful woman, super nice. I can't remember who was giving whom the ultimatum, unfortunately. Sorry, I forgot. But she was a beautiful, beautiful woman. And she's like, ends up going like with this other guy, and they have these dates. And Scotty, do you know who he was with? Our girl Zaina. So Zaina, the same Zaina.
Yeah, okay.
So Zaina, I think she gave the ultimatum to her boyfriend JR. So now she's in this trial relationship with Scotty, and Zaina was like such a positive, bright, beautiful light on the show, like a catch. And this man was rude to her. Like, he was so rude to her. Like, he would just like stare her down sometimes. Like, if she didn't say the thing that she'd like, he was just, honestly, like, I was like, this man needs help. He was gaslighting her. He was like, she had a conversation with her ex, and he was getting like mad at her about it in a way that was like, are you going to get physical? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't, but like, he got just angry about certain things, and then give like a silent treatment. And she's like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm just like, you know, like she was just trying her hardest to appease him and make him happy. And he would just like, he just was not having it. He was not a pleasant character from my experience of him. And I was like, both of them, I didn't want them to be with him. Like, I was like, you both deserve better than this man. I was like, he's not, in my opinion, what I would want in a relationship with a man. No.
He says his relationship was 6 months ago. Is he talking about the relationship from the ultimatum?
I'm wondering because
he mentioned it. He said like 6 months in real life isn't 6 months in reality TV or something like that. And I was thinking, What are you telling me that? Because the show would have aired. It's
But
not
they
a
might,
live show.
I think they might have gotten back together. I can't remember how it all ended up happening. Like, because like they break up. I think they broke up, but they might have gotten back together because they had been dating for a while. So that could be what happened, is that they did end up getting back together. But and you know, he calls himself the villain. Like, he wasn't a villain. He was like a straight up like unpleasant, unkind, kind of scary person. I wasn't. It wasn't villain. It was giving like, don't be with that man. He's dangerous.
Yeah, I would say many of our pop stars have been villains, don't you think? I mean, we had Amira, we had Johnny Bananas, we had Pauly Calafiore, we have this guy. I think Netflix has a type when it comes to what they're trying to bring as far as the energy maybe to the show, or maybe the reactions they want to get out of the people. Because I just don't think it's a coincidence that a lot of I mean Zaina was there, but she wasn't one of the main daters. She was on the panel. But everybody else,
no, Amira
was on the panel.
Zaina was the main dater.
Remember, Amira was on the panel, but Zaina was on the main panel. Right. Cinco, kind of a villain too, honestly, from his season of Love Island with his love triangle.
A villain for
sure. That's what I'm saying. Like, I wonder what this is about. Maybe villains want more TV time.
Or maybe villains say yes.
Yeah, you know, villains are like,
give it to me. I don't know why that's their type, because I feel like there's a lot of people, even in the dating reality TV realm, that would be, a good candidate to come on the show. I don't know why they're choosing deplorable. Maybe they think it's entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, not all of them. Like Demi wasn't a villain, Winnie isn't a villain, but there's a lot of villains.
Demi, she might have gotten a villain arc.
And honestly, I'm being kind, but Winnie probably got a villain edit too. Her and Tolu had the people at home were mad at them. Okay, so maybe there's something to it.
Should we ask Siri? Not Siri, or ChatGPT, and like, what's I'm going to ask for next week. I'm going to ask ChatGPT to help me understand why Netflix may be using villains as their pop stars for the show.
Maybe they're just a lot more entertaining. I think the villains get a reaction out of people a lot of times, and I mean, think about the reaction that this guy got. We got a bunch of pops. I think when you have a show about popping balloons, you want people to pop the balloon, because if they're just standing around waiting on people asking questions, like that would help them find love probably, but it probably wouldn't be the best TV or the most drama. So
see, but that's the thing, is that are we going for drama only, or are we trying to, because it says or find love, right?
Yeah, but it's TV.
But we still want to find love. That's what ends up making the show. Did you watch any of Love Island season 6? The last season?
Yes. I watched parts of Love Island last season with Serena and Cordell.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
The reason why that season was so successful, it worked so well. These like young people are just getting so much success, claim, notoriety, like everything that you could ever want from going on a TV show, is because they were all authentic. They found friendship and they found love. And that was entertaining enough for us. So I wish that they would just lean in on trying to make some connections. And if you have real people that are looking for love, the drama will come, because like, whether it's like they can get popped because like, they're all in and it's working and they're connecting, and then they get popped at the end and you see it's their heart broke. Like, that's what I think you need for the drama. I just don't think it's creating the tension, because it's just kind of all gimmick.
Right. I agree. I think that you do need a little bit more investment into it. I think the popping goes really fast. I think that for some people, when they get popped so quickly, by the time they get to the end, it's like, oh, were you going to be a match with any of these people? It's like, I don't know. I haven't really met them. Like who did you talk to? Because we see, I think, 5 people pop their balloon basically instantly for him. One person, most of them were because of the ultimatum or the vibe or whatever. Well, the 6 months also was a red flag for people. By the way, 6 months, you think that's too long or too short of a time to be hopping back into the dating pool?
No, I think that it depends on the person, depends on the relationship, depends on the situation. I think they're just using that as an excuse. Because
they were like boo,
a year? A year, 6 months. Like, I personally think that that's the same amount of time. Like, it's not that big of a difference. So yeah, maybe it could be too soon, but like also for another person, like maybe you're supposed to have broken up like 6 months ago and you guys have been finally made the sever now, but like, you know, it's been on the outs for a year, you know. I don't know. I think it's fine. I'm not that mad about it.
I want to know when the last time the person has talked to their ex. That's the thing.
That's
what
better.
was the last day that you spoke to them? The last day.
And are you guys cordial?
Right. Are you? If y'all are cordial, leave me alone because it's too soon. Like I need y'all to be like to where like, oh yeah, I think I talked to them on their birthday last year. You know, like that, like something like that. Like it's. I don't need to be like, yeah, we still check in. I still talk to his mama. Like I don't know, boo 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 boo, because it's too soon. So to me, it's more about like that. Like you can end a relationship but still have one foot out the door. You know, with. If you're or like, you know, like 1 foot in it, 1 foot out of it, when you're still trying to work out those feelings, I need to know that like, hey, you've moved on. Like you're that like I don't have to worry about that person popping up. I don't want to talk about them either. Like they should not be the third party in this relationship. That's how I feel.
I mean, I totally agree with that. If it's not completely over, like that's definitely a problem. And maybe some of the poppers knew or had seen the ultimatum but didn't bring it up. And are assuming that the most recent relationship was that one, and that had a lot of ties. You know what I mean? Like it's that still might linger. So maybe that's why.
Also, my guy here is 31. There was not a dater in their 30s for this man. Not one. Everybody was between. I think the oldest dater was 25. Everybody else 31. Now, when I was 31, would 25 be too young?
25 is okay for.
I was like, but that's like 25. But like the 23-year-olds being here, boo, get out of here. You know, like you gotta go. Yeah,
I know. It's see, you know what I mean? Like, and one of the girls, I think she's 22. Yeah, she's like, I'm 22. You're too old. Like 9 years is actually too much at that age difference.
At that age,
like 50 and 41.
Nobody cares.
I'm fine with that. But 31 and 22, she's still a child.
Yeah, she's just figuring stuff out. You know what I'm saying? She's just like, hey, she just got here. So yeah, I thought that was very interesting. He ends up talking to Danya the longest, I believe. She is 23. She's a set decorator, and she says she wants to be a part of a team. That's what she's looking for in a relationship. Because he asked kind of like, what is she looking for, like in a leader? And she says she's looking for somebody who's willing to collaborate. He does tell her he was a villain, and he asked her what toxic traits does she normally fall for, and which ones does she has. Now, you and I have talked about toxic traits. You don't really have any, and I got a few. But she lacks sympathy for inaction. She doesn't sugarcoat things. She's very straightforward. But she says she doesn't fall for toxic. It's like it's just not a thing that she falls for. She says if she sees toxic, she's out. So in that moment, I knew his balloon was popped. There's no suspense here. He's done because I didn't know anything about this man. I didn't know anything about his time on the Ultimatum. But how fast those other women pop their balloons?
That's an ick.
That should have been it. That should have been it. Like you cannot be, like you're not the only sane person in the room. You know what I'm saying? Like the problem is you. The problem is you. You better pop too. You know.
But you're just like, I'm like, wait, why is everybody popping? Do they know something I don't know? Like,
yes. Get out of there. You know, it's like when people start running, you just start running. You don't ask the questions. You just run.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But they do ask him. You know, Yvonne says like, well, you know, did you like anybody here? He says it happened so fast, I didn't get a chance to get into it. So I just thought that was very fascinating to me that like they're even seeing that if you're popping this quickly, you're not going to get any meaningful conversations out of these people.
Exactly. And so I don't know how to fix it. Do they need more daters? Like how many daters? You usually have 8. 8 seems normal, right?
I think they need to give them a chance to ask some questions. I know it's funny to see people pop when somebody immediately walks out because I don't like your outfit or because you're a short king. But at least give me a chance to ask a question. I think once we ask a question, then at least you can say, well, you're a short king, but I liked your answer. As opposed to like pop. And then because a lot of times we see people follow up and they'll finish their thought and they'll say, oh, well, that wasn't so bad. It's like, well, you wouldn't know because you popped the moment they started their sentence. So I think it's something like that. Like maybe you start the pops when they start, you know, once he gets his first question out, they start the pops, you know, because some of this is just happening so quickly that we don't even get to know what he did. Huh? Yeah, premature popping. Yeah. Like nobody wants a 1 minute man or woman, you know, like, yeah. So I don't know.
What did you think about Scotty's outfit though? Like, I didn't mind it. I thought he looked good, you know. And I don't remember her name, but she kind of was saying that she didn't like the white on white. She didn't like that it was too.
She said it was too clean.
Too clean. I mean, I do understand being worried about getting makeup on them, because like anybody that, if I'm hugging somebody that has like a white shirt on, I'm always like this, and they're like, why aren't you hugging me properly? I'm like, I just don't want to dirty your shirt. You know, so I do understand that as like whatever, but he's coming out on a game show and I thought he looked good. Like, I'm fine with what he looked like.
I make some bold outfit choices as well. You know, I like to make a statement. You know, I don't want people to come in like, because sometimes I'll show up wearing sweatpants, but my shoes always gonna be on point. You know, the top half gonna look good too. You know, so it just, I feel like I didn't really have an issue with that. And to me, kind of like what you were saying, it felt like we got to figure out a reason to pop for Scotty. You know, like it would be hard to be like, I see you on the Ultimatum, bye. Because I was like, at that point, why did you put him on the show? But you could have said the same thing for Paulie Califiore. The moment Paulie came out, all the balloons should have popped. I'm sorry. Every last one of them.
Absolutely. But they probably didn't know who he was, though.
But these people watch Netflix, and so they were familiar. And so we don't get any pops, any locks for Scotty. So we have to bring out our next dater. And his name is Jack. He's 24 and from LA. His last relationship was 4 years ago. So pass the check for that one. He's Australian and a basketball coach. And his red flags are people who are heavy into drugs or mean in general. Now, heavy into drugs is interesting, because what do you mean by that? When you say heavy,
like, when you say drugs, are you talking about?
right. Chantele, are drugs a deal breaker, or do we like have to classify the drug?
You need to classify here.
You need to classify the drug. Yeah, you classify the drug. Like there's, I'm like, say when, you know, like, like when you say drugs, you mean like, you know, like you gotta give me. It's
a broad category. Like, are you doing heroin every day, or are you having smoking a joint once a week? Or,
right, exactly. Like, yeah. Because sometimes I'm like, which drugs? You know, like, so, like, you like to party? No, I'm joking.
But what drugs do you think that he's thinking of?
I think he's in LA, and so he's probably
they're all California sober.
Yeah. I think he's just probably come across like some
weed and mushrooms, right? And maybe blow.
Maybe some blow. I'm thinking that's probably what it is. And I think, look, people can't manage their blow habits. I will say that. And so like I would definitely be like, hey,
okay, blow might be like
it's too much of a party. It's too much of a party. Like
if they did it all the time, that's a bit of an issue.
Yeah, it's just like, again, he said heavy into drugs, you know?
Heavy.
Yeah. I used to be like, you know, it's not for me, but now I'm like, if you're like 420 a person, if you're like a smoker, like if you smoke a little weed every now and then, I'm like, yeah, come on, whatever, it's fine. You ain't gonna bother me. Now, I think my deal breaker is more like you said, the hard stuff, right? Like if you strung out or something like that, if you outside, you know, like if I gotta worry about you, like, hey, like, look, okay, especially now, look, I'm in my late 30s. You can't be out here doing Molly. You gotta grow up. You gotta grow up. You gotta grow up. You should have got that out your system.
I mean, I haven't done it forever.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I could do it maybe like once if I'm
on a holiday.
Like in Ibiza, or like I'm in Bali or something.
Okay, you was at the wedding and you did a mushroom. Okay, fine. You know, like, but you can't just be like on a Tuesday afternoon on Molly. I just gonna judge you a little bit. That's all.
That's a little bit much for our age, you know.
Age. Yeah, like if you're in your 20s, have fun, live your life. But not for Jack.
I can't remember who it was, but recently someone told me a story of going on a first date with somebody, and they were like drinking hard, like drinking heavy, like downing drinks, and like, hey, do you want to get shots? And like, this is like the first time they're meeting, and she's like, and I think he was doing coke in the bathroom. I was like, oh,
publicly?
Like on a first date? Like,
right? Are you? But in the daylight where people can see you? He's not okay. That man's not okay.
Not okay. Yeah. No second date.
So Jack comes out with a hard-hitting question immediately, and he follows it up by he asking the group about their most embarrassing date story. Now, I think if your date is in the bathroom doing a little coke, hey man, that might be an embarrassing first date story.
Would they say embarrassing? Was that the word he used?
Yes, he said, what is your most embarrassing date story? So he said, for example, he once was on a first date and it was going great and he got a flat and ended up stranded on the side of the road for hours and with his date.
Oh, that's great. That's a great first date, though. Like, it sucks.
Unless she was ready to go home.
She's like, oh my God, am I getting murdered? Like, this guy
I'm
sucks.
trapped, and this guy, you can't change a tire. Like, sir, you don't have AAA. I'm sure that woman was not okay.
Well, but like, he doesn't have a
roadside assistance, a spare, a donut.
Or like, you could even, donut. Like, call an Uber to like, hey, is there an Uber that has a friggin' like whatever those things are? Was it a jack?
If I'm calling an Uber, it's gonna take her away, so I can figure out how to deal with my time.
Or that, whatever. But like, call a damn Uber.
Yeah, like, call an Uber immediately.
Or if it was working out, though, like that could be a kind of fun, cute, like
meet cute.
It is a little bit like
like
romantic
a
comedy. Yeah,
like, Drew Barrymore movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, if they like each other, it could be a good meeting. Like, you can tell that story at the wedding, being like, "Oh my God, we got stranded on the side of the road. He didn't have roadside assistance. He couldn't change a tire, but I knew that he was the one for me." You know what I mean? It could be a good story.
Yeah. See, my thing is, I can change a tire. But can I do it under pressure? Like with her looking at me like any second now, like it's cold out here. Like, like
can I sit in the car? You're like, it's too heavy in the car.
Yeah, I'm like trying to get the lug nuts off. I'm like, oh my God, something's happening. Like, yeah, I don't. No, this would have been very embarrassing for me. Chantele, do you have an embarrassing date story?
Okay, well, it wasn't embarrassing necessarily. I think I used a different prompt in my head when I was starting to hear all the answers.
Okay, go on.
Okay, but it was maybe the worst state that I've ever been on. So I was on Bumble and I swiped for this cute guy. Says he's 5'10" and he had some activities that like I liked, and I was like, okay, let me swipe, and we started chatting a little bit, and I was like, okay, let's just go meet, and we'll go to like this little bar, and we'll just have like a drink and just get to know each other. So I get there. And Buddy's late. So first off, like, I'm not the most punctual person, but Same. Like, I'm going to be on time when I'm first meeting somebody, unless there's extenuating circumstances, right? But whatever. Yeah. So he's a little bit late, whatever. And he finally gets there, and I couldn't recognize him because I don't know if it was a typo, because 5'10" was more like 5'1".
Oh man!
So I was like, he was shorter than me, and I was wearing heels, and I was like, this is not what I was picturing. But you meet. Oh hey! I go and I hug him for to meet him, and he reeks of like stale cigarettes. And like, I smoke every once in a while. Like, I'm not against cigarettes. I'm not against smoking or whatever. Like, it's not like a full-on deal breaker. But when the smell of a cigarette that you butt it out and you can still smell like that rank tobacco.
Yeah.
And wet, like it was that smell. And so I hugged him like, ugh. So then we're sitting down, we're talking, and the entire time all I could smell like was that stench. And so I was like, just thinking this whole time, like, oh my God, like I'm going out after this. Like I'm going to smell like this from the hug. I could smell it on me. I'm like, oh my God. So we're talking, and I'm just talking about some of the things that I like to do and whatever that I was working on at the time. I didn't tell him anything about like acting stuff or anything like that I think could maybe be flashy, whatever. But he was so like enamored by me that it actually really gave me the ick. Like, I don't know, we're supposed to be like kind of an equal, or like I would want you to be like more something I can move up to or live up to, for you to be like, oh my God, you're so amazing. Like, oh my God, you're so cool. Oh my God. Like, oh wow. Like, I'm just like, yeah, this isn't good. Yeah.
Come on, little Despy.
Like,
little Despy.
You gotta be a little bit cooler. Like, I'm not that cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like chill out.
Yeah, like, don't fangirl over me. You don't even know that I'm actually very cool. But like,
right, wait till I show you the full version of me. This is nothing. Like, you can't handle this. What are you doing?
No. So at the end of the drink, like the one drink, I was like, I'll get my own. So like, I didn't want him to think that, I wanted anything further. And he's like, oh, you don't want another one? And I was like, oh, I had to meet somebody. I'm meeting a friend. It was nice to meet you. And so I ended up just having the one drink, and I left, and I could still smell him on like when I hugged him on my clothes, like that smell. And so, Yeah, he didn't leave a bad taste in my mouth. He left a bad smell in my nose.
You know, sometimes something smells so bad that you feel like you could taste it. That's yeah, like that.
You know the smell though, like that's.
I know what you're getting at. Yeah, I know what you're getting at.
Not great. So yeah, not great. Poor guy. Like 5'10", 5'1", like already you're like off the bat, like, and then you're late. So like you can't, like, your height didn't even make up for your lateness. Like, oh my god. And you smell.
That's tough.
So
that's tough.
So that just seems like my worst that I could think of off the top of my head.
Yeah. The best example I have is that the girl that I was talking to. So we met at a party. And everything went great at the party. Everything was great. We had a great time. And so of course we exchanged numbers, all this kind of stuff. And then I think we were gonna go on our first date. And I went downtown to this bar, and I was sitting there. It's a bar I've been to a lot. And so we were supposed to meet there, and then we were gonna go like walk and go find food, all this other stuff. So I'm sitting there at the bar. I'm sitting there, and the clock is ticking. And it's been like, and I'm texting like, hey, like I try not to be too desperate, but like, after like 15, 20 minutes, I'm like, hey, you good? And then I get nothing. Like... and I'm like, I get nothing. So then my coworker at the time walks in, and she's the nicest girl ever. But she comes in and she's just like, oh my God, what are you doing here? I was like, oh, so we just start chopping it up. And she says, oh, wait, are you waiting on a date? I said, yeah. She's like, well, where is she? I said, she hasn't gotten here yet. She said, oh my God, is she standing you up? I said, I mean, not that I know. I just think she's late. And she's like, oh my God, do you want us to stay here? Hold on, my boyfriend and I will sit with you. I was like, no, don't sit with me. Please get away from me. Like, like my ego now is starting to take away. She's like, no. Because she was like, you need to leave. Because any girl that will like look at you and leave you standing, like, I don't even like her anymore. Like, who is this girl? So I was just like, you need to calm down.
You think that she came in, saw you, and then left? Is that what your friend thought?
Yeah, I don't know what she thought. So she's kind of like, you're too nice for this. You don't deserve to be stood up. I hadn't even processed that I was getting stood up. So I was like, wait, stood up? Oh, I was like, is she ditching me? And so now I'm like in a full like, nah, I'm trying to play it cool because I'm also very embarrassed now. Because I like, if this was happening to me and somebody was standing me up and I was doing it by myself, I could work through it. But my coworker is here making it bigger. And so she's like, we'll just sit with you. Me and my boyfriend will just sit with you until your date comes. I'm like, no, you really don't have to. No. So then she comes in, like, there she goes. And so they kind of leave, and like my coworker like staring dagger at her, like. And so when she comes in, I'm so embarrassed by that I have nothing to give her. I have nothing. I'm just like,
oh my God, you gotta just tell her that story. That's amazing.
Well, I did. I was like, yeah, my coworker is kind of like, blah, blah, blah. She's like, oh, well, I was just, like, I got the, like, she's like coming up with like the excuses for why she was so late. But the whole time I was sitting here like, man, you really had people sitting here thinking that I was getting stood up, man. Like, I'm so embarrassed. Like, I was like, I could feel like my face, I was like, God, I feel like, and so she was talking, I was just like, this is not gonna. I think it was what they call the ick, Chantele. Like, I was like,
you got the ick from her?
Yeah, that whole experience, just like, I was like, I just want to go home. Like, I didn't have nothing else because I had sat there for an hour. But like
an hour, she let you sit there for an hour.
But she did tell me eventually, like, oh no, I'll be there in like 30 minutes. And I was like, okay. But the first 30 minutes before that was just like, hey, anything? But like, I got the ick. And so like that's
just a little rude. Like, it's your time still. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but now the toxic part about this, of course, because it wouldn't be me if it wasn't toxic.
Oh, jeez.
I did not tell her that I had the ick. I just kind of went through the motions through the date. And then when it was time to follow up on the next date, then I was kind of just like, no, we're good.
Did you say no, or did you just stop responding to text?
So anyway, Jack here asked. I might have stopped responding to the text, Chantele. I just didn't feel like talking to her no more. And so, yeah, it'd be too much like right for me to be like, absolutely not. This is not working. I sure wish you weren't late that time. It really bothered me. I'm sorry. That would be too much of an adult thing to do for 23-year-old me. But 23-year-old me was not having it. Okay, so that's a wrap. So yeah, embarrassing for sure, but also. I had to work on myself after that one. Okay. So we get some other stories here. Emma, our dater with the come and go British accent or Australian accent. It shows up, it goes away.
It's British.
Yeah, but it's only here half the time. She was kissing a guy and says that he got an aggressive nosebleed while they were kissing, and it bled all over her. Chantele, I don't even know what I would do if somebody's nose started bleeding all over me. Like, not just like she's an aggressive nosebleed. Like, I'm picturing it all over her clothes.
Okay, what do I think about this? Now, okay, you're learning something new about me. This has never happened to me before. But when I was growing up, I used to get chronic nosebleeds.
Okay.
So I used to like having to deal with a bloody nose. So
yeah,
I don't know if it would ick me out that much, just because like I mean, like oh, I get them too. Like, oh, you're good.
Yeah, I understand.
But
yeah.
I do have a friend that was dating this guy who's the son of like kind of like Canada's Donald Trump, like not president wise, but before he was a president, he's like a newspaper
like a
mogul.
Yeah.
Yes. And that was like knighted, whatever. Anyways, so she's dating this like kind of he disowned his father, whatever, but he was still like pretty affluent and like, you know, everybody knows who he is. And they were having sex on her couch at her parents' house. And he got a full-on nosebleed during this, but he didn't want to stop. And so blood just splattering all over her and all over her parents' couch as like they're having sex, and he gets this nosebleed.
That's what you get for having sex on your parents' couch. You need to go to your bedroom. Yeah, you did that. You did that to yourself. You did that to yourself.
That was like the universe saying, like, "Hey, if you
get it together."
Warn you. Yeah, exactly.
Stop it. Stop acting a fool.
Be more respectful.
Yeah. We get some other crazy dates on here. Sydney says a guy picked her up in board shorts and flip-flops, and she's like, "I just don't need to see your feet that early into a dating situation."
That's fair. That's a fair point.
Just as like didn't seem like he was serious about the date to me. Anna ends up saying that she asked a man to go to a drag show with her, dressed like Princess Peach, and she dressed like I think Mario or Bowser, something like that. Bowser. Yeah, Bowser. I'm not doing this. I'm not wearing drag. It's not happening. No, sorry, not for me. It's for other people. It's not for me.
I do like a costume. I don't know if I do that duo, but I do like a dress up.
Well, I would like to be Bowser. Let me be Bowser. I don't want to be Peach.
Okay, yeah. I see. I thought you were dress up.
Drag ain't for me. You know, drag is for certain people. It's not for me, and I don't want to do that. No, like that, she would have been like, I'd have been like, hey, not doing that.
Now, if we end up having, I don't think we will, but if we end up having an event over Halloween, should we go as the cleanup crew for?
Yes, we just carry a bunch of balloons around,
balloons or like a broom and like
and a jumpsuit.
You know, we can wear like the denim jumpsuits. Like I was like, oh, I like their fit. Anyways,
you were the Black Widow Brigade when we did the costumes last time.
Yes, I did. I did that, and I did Suri.
Yeah, yes. Good times. I did not have a costume. So we also meet Emily, who says his card declined, and then he tried to go in for a kiss, and she don't kiss on the first date. So she opened the door for him when he leaned over and made sure she leaned over like she was going in for a kiss, opened his door from the driver's side, and asked him to get out of the car. Yikes.
Wait, she was driving?
Yeah, it seems like it. She said she leaned over and let him out, is what she said.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess she was driving. Tell us drive your own car or get an Uber. You know, like that'll eliminate that problem so quickly. She's like, you know, be control your own destiny.
Or you get out.
Right, yeah. You can go, but I'm not getting out of my car. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Danya says a guy was showing her pics of nature on his phone because I guess he was a photographer. He liked to take nature pictures on his phone. She swiped left a couple times and she found baby pictures of herself on this man's phone. And he said, I got them off your mom's Facebook page. There's so much to unpack there.
It's weird because like it's a guy.
Does he know your mama?
No, he probably like found her and searched her.
That's
and, like,
crazy. You cannot go. That's crazy. Chantele, that's crazy. That is crazy.
Now, I've heard of people, maybe like girls, women, like doing a deep dive into people's social media and stuff like that. And I've seen girls do it, but I've never really heard of a guy going in that.
But you should not have my baby photos, Chantele. Like if you went and seen my social media and found my profile picture and screenshot it, like, oh, this him. But like baby photos, why you need that?
But like, weirdo, why would you not erase it?
Right? Why is that still on your phone?
Yeah, or like, why are you letting her just swipe? Like, did you want her to find it? Like, that's so weird. It feels
like he wanted her to find it. Like, oh, look at these things I stumbled across. This is it. He should call the cops.
Can I tell you a related story, but kind of unrelated?
Go on.
So I've told you before how, the airline industry is quite a promiscuous industry. There's a lot of cheating going on.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's a lot of things that are happening. And I was on a flight. It was a long flight. We're all just sitting in the back of the aircraft. It was nighttime and we're just gossiping because that's what we do. And so we're just telling all these different stories. And my cabin manager, she tells me that she was just in the flight deck. And because like right now we have this process where if someone from the flight deck needs to use the washroom, like one of us has to go in because they can't have right now just one person in the flight deck. Okay. Because someone fell asleep, which is terrifying. So wow. That's to mitigate that issue. So she was in the flight deck and she's like, I don't think he did this on purpose, but you guys tell me. I was like, go on. So she tells me that, with this captain, they know that both their sons are playing hockey or some sort of sport. And so he was showing pictures of his son that she's known because they've worked at the company together for like 15 years, seen him grow up, seen him come to existence and whatever. And so showing him pictures of him at his hockey tournament or whatever it was. And so he swipes to get an extra time. And he's like, oh, oops. And like swipes it back the other way. And he mistakenly swiped over a picture of him naked. And he's like, says to her, like, oh, that was supposed to be for my wife. And she's like, oh. And so she's asking us, she's like, do you think he did that on purpose? I'm like, yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely he did that on purpose. He wanted to see how you would react to it.
Yes. Yes, he did that on purpose. Yes. That has never happened to a straight man with a straight male friend. You know what I'm saying? Like that has never happened. Like you ain't never been like swiping through and your homeboy like, oh my God. You're like, oh my bad. That's for my wife. Like that has never happened. That's never happened. He knew what he was doing. That's never happened.
So that man is a wonder though about did he want the girl to see her photo on his picture on his thing?
Did he want her to think he was a psychopath? Because what did you think was like? What's the high point of that? How was she supposed to react?
I don't know.
That's so cute. You stole these photos from my mom. So how you found my mama? I don't know, but you found her Facebook page and then went and found photos of me.
I'm like, maybe this is a made up story. It's just making up a story.
I don't know, but look, that's scary. I hope it's made up. So we get a few more pops. Most of these people are just saying that they're not really his type. He's not really their type. Emily pops, Kiara to pops. And we get down to Danya again and Sydney, I think. So Sydney asked him, what did he learn from his last relationship or didn't get from his last relationship? He said he needed the ability to be independent by himself. Anna asked, what was the last risk he took? Now, there's a question I want to ask you. He said he shot a shot at a girl at the end of the final presentation of university, and she ended up having a boyfriend, which is embarrassing, but, risky. So what is the last risk that you took? It doesn't have to be in dating.
Risk. I mean, I feel like I take small risks all the time.
Me too. I was going to say, this is a great question for us. I think we just do stuff that
I'm a yes
spontaneous,
person,
but maybe erratic. Yeah, yeah,
like I'm like, what risky? Like, what was I risking? Like, I audition every day. I'm auditioning for that's risky.
Such is life.
I do a presentation. I go on YouTube. That's risky. So I don't know. Can you give me an example of something that could be kind of risky?
I don't know. It just sounds like he wants to know if you're willing to step outside of like your norm and do something. And I think for both of us, honestly, I think that's an easy yes.
I'd be like, I don't really necessarily want to do that, but yeah, I'll do it. Or like, let's go. Sure. Like,
yeah.
Like,
am I going to die? No, okay.
Even that, I'm like, I mean, I guess it's kind of risky that like I'm going to this new company.
Yeah, that's new.
And like this whole past 2 weeks, I've had to be up at 6 a.m. every morning till 3:30 p.m. studying a new aircraft, a new like standard operating procedures, have an exam every other day. Like, I don't know. That's kind of
that's
risky.
life. Yeah, that's your job. You know, you're like, that's life. Yeah. So,
but like, I didn't necessarily have to say yes that I was going to come over. I didn't have to endure that. So taking the risk that I maybe won't like this, like, I don't know.
Yeah. I can't think of anything. Nope, boo. Can't think of nothing. I agree with Richie. I think we just do a lot of just stuff that's out of the box automatically. And so, like, for me, it's calculated risk. Like, I rarely do something without thinking about it. But like, I just think very fast. You know, it's like, kind of weigh the options really quick in my head. Like, should I do this? Probably not. Will I do it? Sure. You know, like, it's not gonna so I'm definitely that guy. Like, it's like, should we take another shot? No. Am I gonna take another shot? Yes. And then
I have that same processing system.
Like me and you in Boston, we're like, should we go to the next bar? No. It's like 1:30. We shouldn't go to the next bar. Are we gonna go to the next bar? Sure. Yeah, why not? You know, like,
and then at that same bar, like, I had to have my passport. Remember that?
Yeah.
And I was like, should I go back and come back and get it? I'm like, okay, I'll go back to the hotel and I'll come back. And it's like almost 2:00 in the morning. Yes. So,
we did it. But we did it anyway. So it was like,
that was
some
risky,
people would, like, some people would opt out. We're not the opt out types. So there's that. Yeah, we end up getting Danya. She gets down to the end, and she basically says he's cool, but she's not really attracted to her. And so Jack was basically friend zoned in front of all these people. Chantele, have you ever been in the friend zone?
Been in? Yes.
Have you ever been put in the friend zone? Have you ever been friend zoned?
I've been friend zoned, and I've put some people in the friend zone before.
Yeah. Yes.
It doesn't usually happen, but like it has in the past.
Yeah.
You know, when we're like, yeah, I think we're better off as friends.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been friend zoned actively. I kind of like will assess how I think you feel about me and then put myself in the friend. Like, hey, we're friends. Like, you know, like I might be interested in going, like, but I'm never gonna, like, that's not me. I'm not. There you go. When you talk about risk, I ain't doing that. I'm not gonna just like, hey, I can't tell if you like me, but I like you. I'm about to, hey, if I can't tell, you don't like me enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, I'm like, I will friend zone myself until told otherwise, you know? So I don't really get friend zone, but I don't shoot my shot like that. I be chilling. I enjoy having friends, and I'm not really always looking for a relationship. So for me, like, that's not really a struggle. Now, I know for the people, the shooters out there, right? Shooters shoot. So the ones who are shooting their shot, being friend zone, it's tough because you are, you know, putting yourself out there only to find out that the person does not have those same feelings for you that you have for them. And that's something that I don't think I've ever experienced.
So the time that I'm thinking of, maybe it's happened before, but like I can't think of that right now, is that I was living in Vancouver and I got scouted. Have I told you this story before, any of it? I'll tell you just part of the story. And so I was scouted to be part of this TV show called First Dates, where you would go on a recorded live first date. It's not live, but a recorded first date with a random person that the producer sets you up with. So you go and you do all the questions and they find to see if they have somebody that would be a good match for you. So did all that stuff. They had a good match. We're going to have like a recorded date. It's not just like a background date. I go to the restaurant. I was there first. He comes in and I'm like, he was perfect, like my type to a T, like great. They did a great job. We got along super well. We like certain things, like some of the same things. We had some mutual friends. Like it was a really, really good first date. And I was like, wow, like, did this just really work? And so we had a great date. You know, he's very chivalrous. I talked to you about him being very chivalrous. And so he walked me to my doorstep and we have a kiss. And like, it was like a nice first date.
Yeah.
And then my producer was like, oh, it's like, so like, did he message you? Like, did you set up another date? I'm like, no, we didn't end up setting up anything. She's like, okay, I'm going to go nudge him. I'm going to go nudge him. And like, maybe just send him like, thank you for the date, whatever. I'm like, okay, I did, but I'll send him something else. So the next day I get a message from him basically being like, I'm not ready for something right now, blah, 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 like whatever. And like, basically says that he doesn't want anything from me. And I was like, okay, that's disappointing, but like, whatever, it's fine. But then the day after, he's like, but I really, really liked hanging out with you. I think we get along so well. Like, would you have another friend in your life? I was like, well, I did like you and hanging out with you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know you well enough to like be like, no, if we're not dating, like, I don't want to be your friend.
Yeah.
I'm like, we got along. It was so cool. So then we started hanging out all the time as friends. But then every once in a while, he would try to like, make it more than friends and whatnot. And so it went back and forth. But he did originally friend zone me. And then we did become friends for a while. But that story goes into another direction.
I tried to friend zone someone once and she responded, I don't need any more friends. And I said, cool. And then a week later, she was back. I just feel like we need to talk. We don't need to talk about nothing. You only got to tell me once there. You don't need more friends. Peace. I was like, cool, me neither. And so that was it. That's the closest thing I've ever got to friend zoning somebody. She was like, you're not about to friend zone me. And I said, okay, cool. And then we did not talk again. And then she showed back up with a whole different story, and I was not trying to hear it. So did
she want you to like fight for her? Like,
I think she thought I was gonna, like no disrespect to her, but I don't know who the hell she thought it was. Like, I'm finna like, oh baby, please, like, girl, get the hell out of here.
Like, we're good.
Yeah, like, hey, bro. But she, honestly, looking back, she was in law school and she's very pretty or whatever. But I think she thought that I was like dating up. And so that I should have been like, more appreciative of her time that she was spending with me. Like, so when she was kind of like, she was pressing me basically on the amount of time we were spending together, but we didn't live in the same town. We didn't live. So it's kind of like, I gotta make these trips, and there's only so much I can do with so many times. And I thought I was being very forthcoming about that. And then, so it's kind of like, I told her I was going to be in her city, but I wasn't going to get a chance to hang that long. We were going to be able to get like lunch one day, but then like after that, I was going to be booked. And she's like, okay, cool. And so leading up to that, she knew that was a thing. But when I left, she told me, oh, I talked to my brother and he told me that people make time for what they want to make time for and all this other stuff. And if you wanted to,
yet?
We had been dating.
Okay.
But the thing is, I don't agree with that. I told you, like, there are some times where things are out of my control. Like, I have other obligations. You are not number one. Sorry, we're
not
dating.
Yet, anyways,
you're not. Yeah, you're not number one. You're just not. So there's like other things, like you could be one of the several number ones that we're having right now, but you, like, as far as like dating wise, you are the one, but you are not number one in my entire life over all the things I have to do. And so as long as I was upfront about it, I thought we had an understanding. But I guess she slept on it and she talked to her brother, and her brother basically was like, if he really liked you, he'd have made time. Like, okay, cool. Well, I said, well, you go tell your brother that I don't care what he thinks. And also,
I'm not dating your brother.
Yeah, I was like, but you know how I feel about people. I was like, you got siblings. Peace out. But anyway, that's part of the reason why, past traumas. But even then, her thing was like, okay, if you wanted to make time for me, you would have. I told her, okay, cool. Well, obviously, we're moving differently. So, this was fun, but you're not going to be pressing me over something when I told you there was nothing I could do. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. So, maybe we're better off as friends, or we could be friendly or whatever I said. And she said, I don't need any friends. Ooh. I said, obey. I said, cool. And then later on, it was like, well, I just feel like, hey.
She was playing a bit of a game though. She thought the reaction that she wanted, and
I will never. Like, I will never. Like, you got me. Like, we talked about the toxic trait. I will peace out. Like, I was like, she's one of, like, she learned the hard way. Like, bye. Deuces. So anyway, nobody for Jack. He's in the friend zone. And now we move
Jack
on.
was cute though. Like, I mean, I don't necessarily think anybody was a match there, but like, I don't think that he was like a guy that shouldn't have left with somebody. Like, I feel like they could have found him a date. It's just wild. I thought, that he didn't seem, I guess he was just too friend zone kind of guy, too nice guy-y.
Like, the nice guy thing, I've gotten that before too. I have boyish charm sometimes when I was younger. Like, I think I still kind of carry that, but like, I look a little bit older now. But him, I think he's still young and he's still carrying that boyish charm. And so a lot of times women are looking for a man, And so it's like, they'd be like, oh, you nice or whatever, but they want Cinco to walk out. They're not worried about this dude. And so I think Yeah, so I think that's what they worried about. They're looking for like, you know, somebody who come out here and like demand their attention. He kind of like, I like to make jokes and stuff like, hey, brother, you will have your time, Jack. No worries. It's coming.
I think he's hot enough that he'll have a glow up.
He's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look,
and like
one
he's in
personality
basketball though, so like I think that like he might be around some people that can give him a little bit of swag. He needs a little bit of swag, a little bit of edge. But I do think that someone should have been able to see that he's like a diamond in the rough, you know? Like
maybe the next time. Maybe the next time for him. Next from Love Island, we get Johnny, 26 from LA, fitness model, and he's looking for someone with a career who's also got their life kind of figured out. But he doesn't want a girl with too many enemies. And this gives a lot of pops. Just because like I don't think they really like the way he posed the question, you know. But tell me, is Johnny also a villain?
Toxic villain extreme.
Wow.
Oh my god.
I got a type here on Pop the Balloon.
So he was you didn't see him on the chat when he was on the challenge?
No.
He did which season was it? He was on one of the seasons of the challenge. He got out pretty early, but like he was definitely shaking things up. Was it Ride or Dies? I think he went on Ride or Dies. Who did he go on with?
Sure.
I can't remember right now. Anyways, so he on season 2, he was with this girl, Sally. You know Justine. You know who Justine is, right?
I know Justine. Yeah, I know.
Okay, Justine. So Justine and Sally, they were besties, right? And so they were on the same season of Love Island. Johnny was Sally. Like they got together on Love Island. Like I love them as a couple. Like he was like 21, she was a little bit older, but like they were so cute together. They had a handshake, like, you know, like they just was like a cute couple on Love Island that we were really, really rooting for. Until Casamore came, and when Casamore is the whole the guys go to another villa and get time to cheat, basically.
Time to cheat.
And he was professing his love to Sally. There's no way he's going to ever cheat. And then he went pretty hard. I don't know if he went all the way, but like he definitely was being very sexually explorative with this girl Mercedes. And so then when he came back though to the villa, he didn't come with her because he was trying to like, you know, say like, I just got that out of my system, but like I want to be with Sally. And so Sally was super happy that she came back single and like, you know, and then she started seeing or hearing, I don't know if they showed her them anything this season, but hearing about what he did and like how actually bad he was in the villa in the Casamore, and it was just a pretty bad. They stayed together, but they lost the show because the fans didn't get to have the support of him because he was being pretty shitty. And then since then, he's just not been a good boyfriend dater. He came back for Love Island Games. And so at that one, Sally was there as well. And they were all blindfolded. And they had him come out and go and kiss Sally, like give her like this, like, and they're broken up. Like their breakup was he was mooching off of her. She paid for like a trip with them for them to go to Hawaii, but then he like was talking to somebody else and then ghosted her. And then like there was like they had like a big drama. So like they weren't cool. And then he comes in, he just like kisses her, like she's like, oh my god, is that John? Like she was like, you know, anyways, he's toxic. I do think that he's a baby daddy now of at least one child. He did like have a gender reveal. It's a girl. So you know, he's not with that baby mom anymore, which is interesting. But yeah, I could probably go on and on about Johnny Middlebrooks, but that's all I can think of off the top of my head.
No. This is good information because we do get some pops. Certain people didn't really like the way he was posing that question. Peyton pops because he has a thumb ring. I guess you got to put that up there with the dangly earrings.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know the thumb ring was like a nick, but everybody has their things.
Yeah. One thing I will say about Johnny, he didn't really take these questions lying down. Like when people gave him a response, he responded back. And whereas a lot of times they just say like, oh no, I didn't like such and such, and we don't really get any explanation. He was very much pushing back. So there's one moment where Jayla says she doesn't want to date him because he's a model. She's not into that. And she's not attracted to men who are pretty or who know they are pretty. And he pushes back and says, "Oh, that's a double standard because y'all are all pretty. Why can't I be pretty?" Chantele, should men be pretty? You think you good with that? A man
No,
that
it's not
knows.
even.
A man
Oh,
that
knowing
knows.
that you're pretty, it's a bit of an issue. That means that you know how to use your cuteness or your charm or like the fact that you can get any girl because they find you attractive.
Yeah, you
That
try to get away
makes
with that. Yeah.
you get away with everything, and that's what those tend to be quite toxic, which he is. Those types of men tend to have a lot of girls on the go, a lot of girls sliding into DMs, a lot of fending off all these people, you know what I mean? And then they're just usually not they might not be so trustworthy in a relationship if you're just looking at stereotypes of like that little grouping of people.
Yeah, the girl I was talking about, the one that I said was in law school, she knew she was pretty, right? So that was her thing. Like, I'm basically like, you should be making time for me because I am pretty. Like, you know, she kind of hit you with like oh, you know how many guys are in my DMs? I don't care. Honestly, I do not care. Like, that doesn't do anything for me. Are you talking to them? If you're talking to them, then that's a different conversation. But like, if you're not talking to them, then what are we talking about? Like, you just congratulations, people like you know. And so I think it definitely goes both ways as far as I'm concerned. Like, hey, like listen, you can be pretty, but I don't want to have to constantly hear about how pretty you are from you. I see you.
That, or like know by how you interact with other people. Like,
right.
It's kind of like if she was super flirty with other people in front of you because like they're like fawning over her because she's pretty, like that probably wouldn't be, I don't know. This is the way you'd handle it would probably give me the ick. So yeah, I don't really agree with Johnny here, but Johnny's so toxic. I need to give you like the best of Johnny. I'm gonna find a clip. Somebody had to put it together for sure.
So his most divisive question here, he asks, what have they done in the bed? Basically, no, he doesn't say in the bedroom, but he says, what's the wildest thing they've done to spice up a relationship? Which is code for, you know, how freaky you willing to get. Right, exactly. So we get a couple pops.
Which is an ick question, I think, right?
I think so too. I think it's the same. We saw this a couple episodes ago where it was like, tell me a thing that you like to do in the bedroom. It was something like that, right? And I think that he tried to pose it in a different question, like, what would you do to spice up a relationship? But but if the subtext here is, are you about to get freaky? Like, what are we talking about here? And so Emma, poor sweet Emma, she tries her best to like figure out a way to answer the question without also being like freak nasty on Netflix. And so she says like, I like to bite people because it's like a comfort thing. And it's not necessarily in the bedroom. It's just like a thing that I like to do to be affectionate.
Okay.
Right. But then eventually she will then go pop her balloon and say, I just don't like that question. And I'm thinking like, that's probably what she wanted to say at first. Like, it's like, I'm not willing to get out here and kind of like, just be like, oh yeah, pick me, I'm a freak. So she tried to like find a good, solid answer that didn't have to do with sex, you know, because you don't know anything about these women. You just met them 3 seconds ago. Yeah. Your second question is this. Where's the first question?
Well, like, even like, imagine you seeing that on like a regular dating app, but not like a kink dating app or something that's looking for like, I just would be like, like, would he be swiping for people that mean like, oh, I like it, like, I don't know, like, I guess so. I don't know. It's just not serious, and so I would not be interested in anybody that asked me that question on national television, like, without even knowing me at all. I think it's kind of rude. To be honest.
It's so upfront about something that doesn't matter unless you are going to make like these people are. This is not a hookup show. At least we're not presented that, right? We're presented that this is a dating show that they're trying to look for love, and that's very much a hookup question. And I think that like, if you jump straight to the hookup questions, then I feel like you're not taking the assignment seriously. Not that this is a scientific experiment or anything like that, but again, we're trying to get lost
or find love. Remember,
right, or find love. That's what we've been looking for here. Now, if this is just like, hey, y'all hooking up, ask all the hookup questions, fine. But we're trying to find love here. So I can see why the pops happen. But we get a couple people. There's always one or two. And it's like, I'm willing to play ball. Kiara says every day with her is spicy because she's a very sexual person. And Emily says there's a list of places on her list that are public places that she wants to hit, you know, on her bucket list. And I just felt like, Emily, Are you familiar with the sex laws here that we have in the United States? You will be on a list if you are doing this in public. They will catch you. You will go to jail. Yeah, you would go to jail.
I guess
These people,
exposure.
yes, you will be a sex offender, ma'am. I know you're 23, but get this out your system soon. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't want to
I didn't know it was that serious there. Wow. I mean, I don't know. It
people
might
be walking around in broad
but...
daylight. We can't. You don't know, somebody child might walk up or on a venue where you at or something like that. You don't know. So look again. I'm not kink shaming. I'm just telling her to wrap that up soon. Get your bucket list. You can't be exploring all the hot spots in the United States on purpose and like being reckless. Keep it cute.
Maybe she's talking about on holiday.
Yeah, like some at the hotel in a different location, but like you say public place. Hey, lady, get out of them people restroom. You know what I'm saying? Like this is like again, not kink shaming, just kink wrap that up. Just you got about 30 minutes to wrap that up. So
at the first live show, like the very first one in New York. Okay, so I went to the washroom there, and I remember just looking down at the stall next to me, and there was 2 sets of feet facing the same direction. I don't know who was in it. I don't know if it was one of ours. I don't know if it was because there was also regular patrons that were in that establishment, so it could have been anybody.
Could have been
but
somebody
I
in a while,
remember like giggling because it was near the end of the night, and I ran out and I told Taryn, I'm like, Taryn, I think
you told Taryn of all the people to tell.
I saw the 2 feet facing the same direction.
Oh my god.
Anyways, and I was like, I wanted to like be checking people's shoes. But I thought
yeah. So listen, live your life, but just know that you can go to jail. But here's the thing: a bar bathroom, y'all, have some decorum. That's nasty. like that's nasty. There's one thing about being in public before. There's got to be a limit. Get off in a New York.
You don't even know what people have tried to do on aircrafts or airplanes.
Oh yeah. I mean, at least
super nasty.
Yeah, you're right. No, I got nothing for y'all. Get out of people's bathroom. So
get out of the lavatory.
So, yeah, go somewhere else. So anyway, Emily does. Kiara and Emily asked some more questions. She asked what we like to do on the first date. Pretty standard: food, interactive, last spot, blah blah. Emily asked, and I thought this question was pretty cool. This is a Chappell coded question. What album would you have on repeat if you could have one on majority of the time? And he says, y'all gonna judge me. And I was like, watch this man say Drake. And he said, take care about Drake. I said, boo. I don't know anything about this man, but take care, dog. Still, you still in your like tortured lover boy era? Stop it. There's no way. That's why he's so toxic. But he also said Daniel Caesar. I was like, okay, Daniel Caesar made good music, but
he's a good voice.
It's fine. Do you have a go-to album that you would love to put on repeat?
It would still be, and this is gonna show my age. That actually probably most of the people on that panel would have never have heard of this album. But it also coincides with my karaoke song that I have never get the chance to play because it's never available. But the Fugees was like I was obsessed with it. I literally would play it over and over again. And I remember a friend of ours, this guy Sean, he had this Bonneville. And like whenever we're like, skipping school or whatever, we'd smoke spliffs and we'd go to the top of this street, and it's called Willowdale. It's like a pretty steep street, but it had stop signs, but like it goes like this. So we'd listen to the album on repeat. We'll go up to the top and we just like go down this street, and then we go all the way back up and we just listen to the album over and over again, smoking spliffs and going down the street.
Yeah.
Like, I love this album. It's so good. And like, I've done dances to many songs on that album. Like, yeah. It's great. It's great.
Shout out to the score. We love that. Okay.
We used to be number 10.
Yeah. Look, so I'm a music junkie. Okay. Like people think I like a lot of TV. I love listening to music. I don't care what genre. I don't care. I've been making my way through the 100 best album list on Apple Music. I started at number 100 and I started working my way up all the way up through all the albums. I've listened to 60 albums in the last like 8 months, and I'm not even joking. And yeah, and I only listen to them when I'm at the gym, so it keeps me honest. It keeps me going to the gym. Because if I'm at the house, like, I listen to podcasts, whatever. But I go to the gym, I listen to these albums, and I mean, as far as like a go-to album I can put on repeat, I just got to like the 40s. So I'm at the best of the best right now. And so many of them albums are good, but I could list like 5 or 6 albums that I could listen to. Back to Black by Amy Winehouse.
That's a good album.
Injected into my veins. Like, no disrespect to Amy Winehouse because she was doing that too. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no pun intended. But like, that is an album that I can listen to all day, every day.
She's
like, yeah, like, but but the list goes on and on. There's so many great albums.
What's your 6th then?
If let's see, I can listen to Amy Winehouse all day, every day. I listen to John Legend Get Lifted as well, the first album. I know it probably inside and out. Sad to say, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye West is another one that I
He's talented.
The Rumors album by Fleetwood Mac.
Oh my God, I love Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, that's an album.
The Chain. I used to listen to The Chain on repeat after work. Like, I used to sit and listen to.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I love The Chain. Oh, we should sing that one for karaoke.
Okay, yeah, I'm down.
And
then Songs of the Key of Life, Stevie Wonder. There's just like there's so many albums that like I'm like really just like I heard it and I knew I need to listen to it over and over and over and over and over again. So I have a bunch of those. So I thought this was a cool question, but I think I couldn't answer it in one just like quick soundbite because I don't have that. Yeah. So we have Kiera.
Wait,
Kiera,
did she answer?
She did not answer. She asked him the question. He said Daniel Caesar and Drake. But he ends up popping for Emily just because he's more attracted to Kiera and she locks it in.
And we didn't recognize that she was a previous dater.
Yeah, she came back. Yeah, we've seen this one before, and I couldn't place her. I was like, "Where's the? No, I know her."
She was on the other side. Like,
yeah,
I don't remember who was her dates, but yeah.
Yeah, and so she's finally locked it in. Maybe we'll get an update on her. And now we have our last dater, Jake, 26, from San Diego, originally from South Korea. He's in sales, and he's looking for someone who can make him laugh and. It's someone he would be comfortable being soulfully naked with. And I thought soulfully naked is kind of like the coolest thing as far as like a phrasing of a way to be just like, you want to be honest and like open and be yourself, your truest form with somebody. You know, there's no facade, there's no veil, there's nothing covering it. And I was like, that's pretty cool.
I mean, I think that's ideal, right? You want to find a partner who you can just be you with. You're not putting on any sort of masks or any sort of you're not changing yourself to be with that person. You're being authentically you. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Good on him.
And I guess they were really attracted to him because nobody popped. It was crickets. Okay, they came in. They were really open to seeing what he had to say. Maybe they knew it was our last dater. Who knows?
But now or never.
Yeah. But we got Danya and Peyton, who both say like, oh, not Danya and Peyton. I think it was Danya and Jayla, who both say that they like a little OCD. Donna says she's very OCD and she's very anal about stuff being in its right place and certain laundry being done and put up plate. I was like, hey, lady, pop the balloon for me because I'm not even going to waste your time. That is the furthest thing from my mind. The laundry will get put up when I feel like putting it up. If I fold it and put it right here, that's its spot. You know what I'm saying? That's its spot until I move it.
I'm with you. I agree that I'm too busy to
I'm running around.
Yeah, come on. Yeah. I need somebody to do it for me. Not saying she should or that he should. I would rather hire someone to do all that stuff. You know what I mean? Because I just don't have time for it.
The day I discovered the dry cleaners changed my life. And then I realized I couldn't afford how much I was using it. And so I had to come back. But there was like a good 2 months where I was like, oh, thank God, I'm never washing clothes again. Like I'm taking.
But if it doesn't have to be dry cleaned, like you don't have like wash and fold services, like because definitely in Canada you can just take your dirty clothes in a garbage bag or whatever, and you can give it to them, and it's like I don't know $10 for a load, or they pay by the pound, and they'll wash and fold everything for you, and you go and pick it back up.
Yeah, that's the move. Yeah, that's the move for sure. Because I'm just not gonna be bothered with no laundry like that. This is not on my list. Also, Jayla sniffed him because she says she's really into smells. Like that's very important to her. You have obviously shared your story about having a man who smelled like old cigarettes in front of you. But would you sniff a guy on like when you first meet him? Because she really went up and sniffed this man. I think it was a joke.
I mean, I wouldn't say that I wouldn't. I don't think that it's like that. Like, it depends on like the vibe of the guy. You know what I mean? Like, some people are just a little bit more. I don't know. I could see myself maybe sniffing somebody, but I wouldn't be doing it on Netflix, though. I don't think.
Yeah, me neither. This is.
But like, if I'm sitting beside them, like, oh my god, you smell good. I can see myself doing that.
You know? Yeah, that's the one thing. Yeah,
like
yeah,
kind of getting closer, you know, like.
And I have a sensitive nose. Not to say that like smells that smell bad jump out to me, but like it's just like allergy thing. So it's like if you smell, I can smell it. If there's a scent, I can smell it for sure. But yeah, so we get through a few of those. We feel a few little standout comments about things that your ex would say they were annoyed with about you. Do you have anything that your exes would say that they found annoying about you in particular?
Maybe that I text too much.
Oh yeah. And maybe, then see, my thing is I'm a bad texter. So like that's the thing that I'm like, you gotta get over that.
Yeah, like I don't care if somebody doesn't respond back necessarily. Like I'm just like giving updates or just saying what's going on or like whatever. Like I don't. So I think though sometimes other people feel like it's pressure, like, oh my god, to respond to all these things, but like I'm not really necessarily needing a response to them. I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like respond when you can or don't, or like respond when you talk to me next. You know what I mean? So, but I think sometimes the other person might feel that it's pressure. And I'm like, no, I'm chill. Like, I'm not mad. Like I'm just communicating and whatever. So yeah, maybe that. Maybe.
Yeah. Peyton says that she can be naggy and that maybe that pushed people away a little bit because she likes to wear the pants. She says it's really hard for her to not wear the pants in the relationship. He doesn't seem to have an issue with that. He's like, look, somebody got to. But he does he does end up popping for Peyton just based on his better vibe, I guess, with Sydney. She says she loves being outside. She enjoys being with people. She seemed generally nice. Like there was nothing that I could say that stood out about anything like any red flags with her. Like even her exes were just saying that, maybe they could be annoyed that she prioritizes their friendship too much. Maybe like, when I guess people like to be number one priority, but sometimes your friends are like 1B, like they're pretty high up there too, because they've lasted the test of time and this person you're dating is brand new.
They've seen the old you, like right. They know who was there before.
Right. But we got an extreme example of that, Chantele, because Emma has a twin. And this is another level of that, because this is like a friend that you've had since day one of your life. And she said sometimes it can feel like there's a package deal there. Do you understand what she was getting at? Like, do you get like why that would be something that the daters were or her past relationships were probably turned off by?
100%. Well, especially because like they live together. So
yeah,
it's just when somebody's a little bit too close, like they don't necessarily want to be dating her brother. Like right. they want to be dating her. And so if it's a package deal, sometimes it's just maybe you just want to get to know her and then maybe get to know the brother. And so, but I can understand from her end being like, hey, if you don't get along with me and my brother, then it's not going to work out. So I get that from her perspective because this is her life and this is who she is. But I can totally understand why someone might not want to just deal with it. It might be just annoying, right?
Yeah, because I know if it was me, if I had a twin, I'd be unbearable. Because I like to do stuff with people that I like, and if this is my twin, 100%. Then I'm like, me and my twin are going to the music concert. Me and my twin are going to right. You know what I'm saying? Me and my twin are going to go do a thing. And then it's
like the thing, right?
Me and you can go do a thing, but then afterwards, me and my twin are going to do stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I would be unbearable because, like I said, when I do value my friendships and I value my my family a lot as well. So I feel like that would be tough. But I never thought about that before, Chantele. Like I never thought about the burden of the twins of what
I have a lot of twins in my family.
Really?
And so if I were to ever have children, I always assumed that I was going to have twin girls.
I think I'm the one who's going to have the twins in our family because we don't have a lot.
Okay, we do. So my brother has fraternal twins. My sister has identical boy twins. My great grandmother, like, so my mom's grandmother on my mom's side is an identical twin. On my mom's dad's side, his dad or grandmother had 4 sets of identical boy twins and 8 girls. They had 16 kids in Jamaica, like a long time ago. My dad's mom, I believe, had twins that didn't make it. And then I think there's a few other fraternal sets of twins, like on my cousin line.
Yeah, there's a lot. So I can't name. I can name a couple twins, but it's not a lot. It's not a lot at all. So I always assume I'm gonna be the one to make the mistake of bringing the twins into the world. But then I also like have this like deep seated fear that it's gonna be 3 of them, and then
oh my god, that's the same for me.
I'm a flight risk at that point. You have to come get me because if I find out there's 3, check on me.
I was saying because like I always have these outlandish wild stories, and I'm like, God would like make a joke with me because we're like you want twins, giving you triplets.
Yeah, you like variety. Here's 3 of them. You
wanted something wild
to spice
story?
It up.
Here you go.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're both having triplets, Chappell.
We're trying hard not to. So yeah, he doesn't end up popping for Sydney. He says it's a lock, and they lock it in. And so we get 2 more matches out of this episode, and then we also get the announcement from Yvonne Orji that they are coming back for episode 7. So we're at least getting 7 episodes now. We don't know if they're going to do this again, but Chantele, we will be back for episode 7.
We will be back for episode 7. What do we think? Is this a pop or a log? I don't know what to do.
I'm a mixed bag on this one because, like I said, I don't think the people were like, oh no, they weren't giving me what I needed. I just felt like everything was just like, I don't think we're that, I
didn't really get to know anybody, really.
I didn't get to know anybody, yeah.
I like The Last Dater, but I still don't feel like I know him that well. I'll be curious. Hopefully there'll be a follow-up with Johnny. I'm sure there will be, just because he's a reality pop star. And the girl's pretty, and she came back twice, so
yeah.
I'm sure there'll be a follow-up on her, but I don't think that they're going to be in a relationship ever.
Pop the balloon.
Ah!
Yeah. It's a pop. It's a pop. And we will be back for episode 7 to see if we can get one more lock in before they stop this pop and lock thing over on Netflix. Chantele, this is so much fun. Thank you again for being here.
It's fun. I like talking about your toxic ways.
Right. We have now officially got an hour and a half out of this show on this podcast. So I think the first episode we were like 40 minutes. We were like, okay, that's it. But now here we are in each other's business, and this is so much fun. Tell everybody where they can find you in the meantime until we come back next week.
Sure. I'm on Instagram at ChanFranFran, or am I covering anything? I think I'm going to be covering something soon. I think I'm going to cover Destination X is coming out at the end of the month. We're also going to have Love Island, which I usually do a daily coverage of. It's both US and UK, so that's happening in June. So
Love Island
stay tuned for that. Oh my god! Hopefully that's at the end of the summer though, so I can't do 3 at the same time. Also, Bachelor in Paradise is coming back this summer, so this is going to be the summer of dating and reality shows.
Big Brother,
of course, but I'm not covering Big Brother on my channel. I'll be covering Big Brother on RHAP. So my channel is Reality Realness with 3 S's on YouTube, and I just did the B&B with Liana and Mike Blue for last week's episode. So make sure you check that out if you haven't checked it out already. But other than that, that's all I got going on right now.
All right. And if you are listening to the Pop the Balloon coverage, but you're not checking out our other Recap Kickback coverage, what are you waiting on? Go check out all the stuff we have on Recap Kickback. We watched Forever on Netflix for episodes 1 through 4. It's a good show. It's a really, really good show. And we talked about it with Entertainment and Colors on Mika. She came on and joined me and Mari, and so that was so much fun. And then we are going to have her back next week to talk about episodes 5 through 8. So make sure you tune in for that. If you like Forever, or if you are a big fan of Mika like I am, then come join us over on Recap Kickback. And then I'm working on something else. I've been assembling the troops, y'all, but I think we're going to be watching Flavor of Love soon. And I think we're going to be talking about it here on Recap Kickback. So just a little blast from the past. I love talking about reality TV. I got a lot of podcast homies who like talking about reality TV. And, it's an untapped market that RHAP is not really doing. So here at the Recap Kickback branch of that, we are probably going to watch Flavor of Love. But let us know what you think about that in the comments. Let us know if you're in for the Flavor of Love rewatch, because we're going to start with Flavor of Love, I Love New York, and then God knows where we go from there. But check it out and make sure you subscribe to the podcast, recapkickback.com/subscribe, or follow on YouTube to catch us in our beautiful faces here, youtube.com/@recapkickback. But that's it. So until next time, for Chantele and myself, you ain't got to go home, but make sure you tune in next week and see us pop the balloon again. Bye.
I've been trapped behind Tall Maria, isolated like it's North Korea. Smaller city with some bigger dreamers. The wall is cracked, I'm looking in between it. The world is yours, but man, I gotta see it. They say it's hard, but man, I gotta see it. The air I'm breathing can't feel my chest. Wait on life, I wanna hold my breath. I'ma get in my goddamn self.